Welcome, Jesse, to Web 2.0. Welcome.
Thank you. So hello, my name's Jesse Robbins. I'm a firefighter, EMT, and emergency manager. I'm also a CEO of a tech startup, but we're in stealth mode, so I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about is the way that Web 2.0 tools are currently transforming humanitarian aid. And in so doing, providing an opportunity to make a difference in the world and actually improve your product. And by your product, I mean the people here that have Web 2.0 services and products that they're trying to develop. The first thing I'm going to say, with everyone here going, go after the hard problems and tackle the big things, they're actually really hard problems, and they're hard. Does everyone get that they're hard? And the reason that they're hard is that when you want to make big change in the world, what tends to happen is you fight against this difficulty between being inexperienced and excited and being very experienced and afraid of change. And what we see right now is a lot of the geek community, the hackers, saying, we're going to save everyone with this new technology that we've developed. And the emergency management community responding back and saying, it is never going to work and you're going to kill everyone. They are terrified of new things. Conversely, the emergency management community every once in a while gets excited and says, man, we're going to use Twitter to save the world. And the geek community goes, oh my God, no, it's not going to work and you're going to kill everyone. So it's a little bit of a challenge innovating in this space. And so I wanted to explain how to actually do it and then how to take that home to your own organizations. So there is a way. About a year ago, Mikkel Marin and I discovered a pattern, if you were, for disaster tech innovation. And this pattern is really simple. There's a disaster, be it Katrina or the San Diego wildfires or the tsunamis. In the disaster, there tends to be ad hoc adaptation. So people are going to take the tools and resources that they have at hand. They're going to make them work in order to do what they need to do in order to survive and recover in the disaster. The way to get things done is, after that event, champions need to emerge who will take what was learned from the disaster and improve it iteratively in order to distribute that broadly throughout the community. So my own experience, I was a task force leader in Operation Hurricane Katrina. I took an unpaid leave from Amazon for a little while. I was their ops person at the time. Fourth quarter, they didn't really like that very much, but such is life. And I went with an organization called World Shelters, which had the mission of making and giving shelter in Hancock County, Mississippi. These were the structures that we built. They looked like this. These are Quonset structures. We used them for a variety of purposes, ranging from transitional shelters for people to medical centers and points of distribution that serve thousands. So you can see the line there on the bottom. There was a huge need. And the organization that we worked with was the American Red Cross. What we did was we built shelters that they could operate out of, because their operational plan required that they have buildings with hard sides and not filled with sewage, and there weren't really very many buildings that weren't filled with sewage at the time. So one of our challenges in operating in the field was the fact that all of the road signs had been blown down, and we didn't have the iPhone yet, so we didn't have the ubiquitous mapping. We did have, at the time, handheld GPS devices and the ability to use Google mapping for routes. And so this was the ad hoc adaptation to overcome the transportation challenges at the time. Unfortunately, we ran into a couple of problems. Namely, this is a picture of the I-90 bridge that starts in Bay St. Louis. You can see there that it exists according to Google Earth. This is my picture from 2005. Unfortunately, this is what the bridge actually looked like. So obviously a little bit of a difference between the two. There is the bridge, and there it's gone. And the problem was that the American Red Cross didn't know that Google Maps wasn't real time and the satellite images were not, a live satellite feed. And so they would say things like, take the I-90 bridge, and our volunteers and aid workers would say, it's still destroyed. It's been destroyed the whole time. And you'd argue with Google. That's actually Allegra Sur-Lebel, who a member of the World Shelters team and the love of my life. So the problem was it wasn't real time. So the mapping data was not current. There was a timeliness problem. And there was no way for aid workers like me to update Google Earth and Yahoo and all the other routes in order to actually be effective in the field. After we returned, we met somebody named Mikkel Marin, who is a geohacker and one of my personal heroes. He emerged as the champion. And what he did was he began working, actually he had the project at the time, OpenStreetMap, which allows people, sort of Wikipedia for maps, to work with Google and Yahoo to be able to update the maps, and also working with the UN and other aid agencies in order to improve their ability to do these kind of updates in real time. The end result was better maps for humanitarian aid and better products for everyone. So opportunity to improve your products and make a difference in the world. So here's the pattern. There's an anti-pattern, and it's very simple. When there's disasters that occur and no champion arrives, there is no iterative improvement, and the public tends to demand that they are capable of doing the same thing again and again. So an example of this is the search for Jim Gray, the Tenacious Search. It was a large project using distributed analysis of satellite imagery from search and rescue organizations. And they used Mechanical Turk. It was one of the best uses of Mechanical Turk imaginable. A huge effort to send possible hits and looking for Jim Gray, who went missing at sea. Great story in Wired that covers this. Unfortunately, there was no champion that emerged afterward. And so it was a one-off, it was a one-time effort, but the public believed that it was easily repeatable, that it should be possible to do that kind of search again, and it wasn't. And so when Steve Fawcett went missing, there was a large number of volunteers that tried to do the same thing, but they weren't able to reuse any of the infrastructure. They had no way of doing the same thing with the same resources. There were no training for volunteers, there were many false positives, and in fact, they ended up impeding the search by people simply calling the search and rescue teams directly. This got so bad that the people in charge of the search and rescue operation just simply said they wished that it hadn't been there, that maybe this technology has some potential in the future, but they're not ready today. Fortunately, there is a new champion that's emerged, the Internet SAR organization, which is looking to take the lessons that occurred here and build a better organization. So that's the anti-pattern. What I'm hoping you're all asking yourselves right now is, okay, so Tim issued this big challenge and we're all supposed to do this. Jesse, how can we possibly be champions? I mean, this is the Web 2.0 space. And the answer is there's many kinds of disaster. There's homelessness, there's poverty, there's hunger, there are challenges too numerous to name, but all occurring in your local community and all in desperate need of champions to work with nonprofit organizations who are desperately seeking people to help them get to Web 2.0. They're the same as the enterprise, so if you're making products that are intended to serve the enterprise, you probably could also serve the same challenges posed in the nonprofit community. And the major difference here is that they're actually ready and desperate for Web 2.0. I don't know if any of you are trying to sell Web 2.0 stuff into the enterprise, but it's hard, and in the nonprofit space, they want it so bad. So how do you do it? Well, the first thing is that you find and embrace nonprofits who are already looking to adapt existing technologies to your organization. You find where your strengths match closely with theirs. Work to understand their needs. And the most important part of this is actually getting your boots on the ground. So if you're working with a homeless shelter and trying to deploy a CRM, actually go and see what a day in the life of one of their workers is. Get a real feel for actually how to do it. Remember that your focus is on serving those that serve others. So work with the organization by improving your own products, be able to make a difference, and ultimately be champions. Thank you.